So if we're looking to solve a system using matrices, solving systems using matrices. Okay, the system I'm going to use is x minus y equals 3 and 7x minus y equals negative 3. When we do this, the first thing you've got to do is represent the system as a set of matrices. So that would be your coefficient matrix right here. We have x and y equal to the values we have, so 3 and negative 3. Pretty clear where those go, right? And this is your coefficient matrix. So the coefficient that's in front of this first variable would be 1. In front of y, negative 1. In front of x down here now, 7 and negative 1. So when we do this, we now input your data into your calculator. Input data into your calculator. Okay, so when we do that, I'm going to clear all my RAM first. I certainly hope the gentlemen who are playing with Rubik's Cubes, their cell phones, and etc. are going to be able to do this. So you put these in. You have to go over to edit once again. We'll define matrix A. It is a 2 by 2, so 2 enter, 2 enter. We put these in, so we have 1, negative 1, 7, and negative 1. And so that the calculator doesn't get confused, I always quit out of that. So that's second mode. So we define our next matrix. That could be matrix B in this case. Go over to edit, down to B. And what are the dimensions of our matrix B? Yes, a 2 by 1. And I put those in as 3 and negative 3. Sorry, I realize that's a little far away, isn't it? 3 and negative 3. And I quit out of it. So now, step 3. Do you remember how it had matrices A, X, and B, right? And how did they solve for the variable matrix? Do you recall? How did we solve? We multiplied by the inverse. We multiplied by the inverse. So if we multiply by the inverse, that's a to the negative 1 power. Because when you multiply by an inverse, the inverse of something is anything that multiplies to give you the result of 1. So the inverse of 3 would be a third. So I'd multiply 3 times a third, and the result would be 1. So in this case, the inverse of a, these would simplify to be 1, and I'd multiply on this side by a to the negative 1 power. Because whatever I do to one side, I must do to the other. So here, solve. Wow, writing is very difficult. I just wrote solve. Solve using inverse of matrix A times matrix B. So I do that. So I put in matrix A, and I write to the -1 power. The -1 power is the matrix button you keep hitting. And multiply by matrix B. I just press enter, and the result I get is -1 and -4. And so that means that x equals what? -1, and y equals -4. So as a coordinate, that would be -1, -4. And finally, check your answer. So if I did that, my original system was x minus y equals 3. So I have -1 minus y, which is -4, equals 3. Well, those two would be -1 plus 4, and I believe that does give me 3, yes? Okay, now I have 7 times x, which is -1, minus y, which is -4, equals -3. So 7 times -1 is -7. Those two negatives result in a positive, and I believe that works. And there is your toolkit entry over solving systems using matrices.